3, 2, 1. Hi, welcome to the FAIRPORT FAIRCAST. I'm FAIRPORT, and this is the FAIRCAST. I'm joined here by...
This is Crab Stomp.
This is Crab Stomp. You should subscribe to his channel.
Which I still haven't made any video yet, which I'm still thinking about the script, and I need a microphone, so...
Well, after this podcast goes up, you're going to have so many fans, they're going to be asking, where's the beef? And then you're going to have to upload something.
The thing is, it's hard to... Well, not necessarily hard to think of something to upload, but something that makes people interested about your channel.
Man, I wish I knew how to do that.
But you kind of do.
Okay, sure. Let's go with that.
You have process. You have some process, even though there's only like 12 people watching your video.
15. Okay. This is T-Series Part 2. So Felix better watch out.
So what are we gonna talk about?
I was kind of hoping that more people would be able to join, but that's fine. I wanted to talk about. Let's bring it back to the original topic that this podcast started with, all the way back in JoJo Part 1 with Godzilla. We're not gonna really talk too much about the Netflix series anymore. But we can a little bit. But I think what I mostly want to talk about is King of Monsters. So, do you want to start with King of Monsters? Do you want to talk about the last movie in the trilogy of the Netflix series?
I didn't finish that movie. I mean, I left.
Yeah, you, me and Matt.
Start become some sort of cult of things, and yeah, I stopped right here, and I was like, what the fuck was I watching?
I like that it got so bad that you just called an Uber and left, and then me and Matt had to watch it together.
You guys thought that I laughed because I thought the movie was so bad I just had to leave the house, but no, I didn't know the taxi was coming. Apparently,
it was bad. I could make a better video, and I did. I think you can check it out on my channel. Self plug. But compared to that, how do you think the human subplot in the Netflix series was better than the subplot in the Godzilla 2014 or Godzilla King of Monsters?
Oh my god! I mean, compared to a kid that wants to have a revenge on Godzilla and turn out okay and maybe has some responsibility and become some sort of a savior for human. Versus a plot about a scientist and want to release all the monsters from Earth because human is infections. I mean, they're both bad.
Yeah, I don't like that. It was spoiler warning to the 15 people watching this. But in the movie, the main I guess was her name Madison, the wife, or was it Elizabeth? Anyway, the wife.
Madison's the daughter, and I can't remember the scientist's name because I don't even.
I guess the mom. Remember. She decided to start releasing all the Titans because she thought they would bring a new natural world order, and instead everything went bad. Surprise, surprise, because she released another alpha that challenged Godzilla, and then it started messing up the whole planet when he lost. when it beat Godzilla. Well, it didn't really beat Godzilla. It was just when the oxygen destroyer detonated, Godzilla died, and then Ghidorah was the only one left. So all the other monsters bowed down.
But we can, and Godzilla wants to get rest because the damage so everything it takes him years and yeah.
Yeah, and then there was like I saw a thing where it was like the people who were like making the movie. They're like, yeah, I really like Rodan. I like ever since I watched him since I was a little kid back in like the 60s. I always had a deep respect for him because I like dinosaurs. And now that I get a chance to make Rodan in this movie, I really want to give him his moment to shine. And then the exact next picture was screaming.
One exact moment, and that's all. All Rodan needed one moment.
And then he's just screaming the whole time.
just screaming and can't really fight except bow to the weather of the king.
He gets crucified by Ghidorah. When he's fighting Ghidorah, he gets like Ghidorah's two side heads grab Rodan's wings, so his arms are out in like a cross formation, and the middle head just strikes him with lightning, and then he just falls in the ocean. Like he immediately, when he sees like Ghidorah just immediately like just choke slams him into the water. So much of this movie is just one character choke slamming another character. Do you think the critics are right to give this movie a 60% now that you've seen it twice? Like, when you really, like... Because I saw a couple of reviews...
Well, for given parts, I do agree with him. It's kind of weak on the part with... Well, I can't say really the human part should be all important for Godzilla, but some it should be, like, somewhat watchable, and, I mean, humans should drive... Not necessarily drive the plot, but human plot should be surrounded by the monsters. So, I mean... This movie does a good job, but in terms of actual plot, yeah, you do have to agree with critics.
Do you think this movie
there's so many characters?
Do you think this movie was better, or do you think 2014 was better?
2014 until Bryan Cranston died, I just don't care about any other characters. This one, well, I do care about Dr. Serizawa because the trademark characters.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, I don't really care about other characters.
Do you think this new movie gave Godzilla the respect that he like used to have in the 1950s, or do you think it's kind of become more of like a too much Hollywood blockbuster thrown into it?
Well, I would see it two ways. On one hand, it did the respect its character given its fame back. I mean, seriously, Godzilla fame in an American-made movie for like 21 years. They finally got it right. Like, somebody know what they do. But on the other hand, yeah, the CG. Well, I can't really say that's really a problem because I mean, that's what movies nowadays is. It's just a CG blockbuster fast. I mean, I can't really complain about it. This movie is not like trying to be something like the original Godzilla. It's just trying to be a fun, monster clashing film. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that too. I think the tone for this movie in 2014 is definitely very different. This is very like King of Monsters is a very like a fantastic mystery world kind of thing.
Versus movies like the original where industry had the monsters or the I can't remember the name. There's so much Godzilla movie. I mean, some names shouldn't you do remember, some you don't. So
I think 2014 Godzilla gave like, I think in my opinion it was like it was more close to the source material because in the original Godzilla he's supposed to be this unstoppable force of nature that you both fear and respect.
Last minute. Until that last minute.
Well, yeah, the last minute where he becomes a war veteran. Yeah, you mean that the best scene, one of the best scenes where literally everyone's clapping and cheering for him, and then there's a big like jumbotron in the baseball stadium that says Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Savior of our city. And then he just roars and goes back into the ocean, and he gets a military salute. That scene.
Like, that would be fun if Godzilla, like, not necessarily stay evil, but stay, like, neutral. I mean, he is still neutral in a way, but not like the human is supporting him because he's some sort of war hero for protecting good. Because they're just doing his job. I mean, come on. Bring giant monsters to retain the
But I definitely think
balance.
I definitely think it. 2014.
Is.
I definitely, I definitely think that like that message of like keeping the balance. That was really fisted in King of the Monsters, like a very like. It kind of like insultingly, they're like, "Oh, here's this message: economical collapse and the monsters will save us because people are humans bad, nature good." That you hear in like every single like. I don't know, like a thing. And I think in a way that was kind of like, okay, like whatever. It could have been like, that's an important message. I mean, that's like the core of like Godzilla. I mean, born from the bombs in Japan. It was born from the bombs in Japan, and like he's the like it's supposed to be like, okay, well now you've like messed with atomic energy. That's like something that like no one can control. It's a force of nature, and like the whole thing about like humans like. Abusing nature. That's like a core of like, you know, Godzilla culture. But I don't think like it needs to be fisted in like that hard that it dedicates the entire 3 minutes of the movie of just like basically saying it. Like instead of like just showing it, you could just been like you could just have like a 1 or 2 sentences like the humans like take advantage of the environment and like now it's time for consequences. You could have just said that, and then you could have just showed all the scenes of like all like the pollution and destroyed places and all the cities and all the dead animals. That could have worked too, but instead it was this whole thing about like we are the infection, we are the virus. But like, the thing is, in the trailers, that worked really well. It was like really like chilling when she said it because you didn't know like she was like.
You didn't know her identity yet.
Yeah, it was like as if it was like some sort of like.
It was just some news report.
And that's what made it like. That's what made it so scary because you didn't know who it was. It was just someone saying, "Yeah, no, this is really bad." And like, in order to like make this bad thing go away, we need to let these monsters be free and do their thing. Like, we need to, like, it has to get worse before it can get better, and that's the whole thing. And like the way the trailer sets it up is like Ghidorah just accidentally gets free, and then it's like, okay, we have to like release like Godzilla and like the other Titans so we can fight Ghidorah. But like that's not how it was at all. The way it ended up in the movie was like they released Ghidorah on purpose, and then they released Rodan and all the other monsters as a plan, not as like a way to fight Ghidorah, but just like that was just part of their plan, and it just happened to backfire. And it was kind of like messy, in my opinion. And like a lot of the monsters didn't really like get as much screen time as I think they deserved. At least like I mean they got screen time, but I mean they didn't like get like
the big four got its screen time.
Like well, Godzilla got screen time, but I mean like
then there's just Muto stuff, which I think Muto got
another Muto.
Got more spotlight compared to other Titans that
I like in the Monarch. Like in the Castle Bravo Monarch outpost, they just have the head of the Muto that Godzilla ripped off. It's just in there. I think I don't know. I definitely think they could have given a little bit more character development to all the monsters, because like if you didn't know who these characters were, if you were completely new to the MonsterVerse and like to Toho, like what would be your would you be able to like tell that like Rodan is like selfish and he like basically follows whoever like best serves him, or that like Mothra is like a benevolent god and like Godzilla is like kind of a neutral destructive god, and like Ghidorah is this like destructive outer space force. Just from watching this movie and just this movie, could you know like the culture and the lore and everything?
Probably not, because I mean, this film is made by fans, but for casuals, it'd probably be really confusing, you know, in a way. They didn't know what these monsters represent, or yeah, it could be really difficult for newcomers to watch it because I don't understand the lore behind it. Unlike us, fans could just pick up really easy. Yeah.
Yeah, like when Ghidorah went to the top of the mountain and like he did his like alpha call, and then Rodan came and like bowed. Like I knew like that what that was. That was like Rodan that was Rodan being like selfish, and he was like, okay, well I can't win, so I'll serve Ghidorah, so then like I can benefit and I won't get hurt. But like anyone else, they'll just like probably think that like Rodan like flew out of the ocean and he's just like died on top of the mountain, or like when he comes back to fight Mothra, he just came back on his own, and like it's not really clear that like he is serving Ghidorah. And at the end, he does bow to Godzilla, but like that's the only kind of like when he bows to Ghidorah and bows to Godzilla are two different kind of scenes, because when he bows to Ghidorah, it's on a computer monitor, and it's alongside other computer monitors showing other kaiju, so it's kind of that's in the background. And the Godzilla one where he bows down to Godzilla is like, you know, that's the scene that they focus on, because that's just showing that he's the king now. But like I don't know, it doesn't really like show that like his personality, and like Mothra like came to protect Godzilla, but kind of like she died. And like I think the main problem I have with this movie is that like the death of the characters at least doesn't get as much time as it should, enough time that it has an impact. Because like Serizawa's death, like that was like really impactful, but then like afterwards, when no one ever came to like any realization or like the conclusion that he's gone forever. Like he's not coming back. He detonated the bomb and he's gone. And like all that happens is the submarine resurfaces, and then they're like, "Oh, where's Godzilla?" And then Godzilla comes up and it's all good. Then it like, zooms in his face like the gods in Capcom. And then like when Mothra dies, all that happens is that like her radiation is absorbed by Godzilla, and then he tries to get up, and then he falls back down. There's not even a moment where like anyone's like, "Oh no!" Like the other half of Godzilla is like dead. Mothra is dead, and Godzilla doesn't really like do anything. He doesn't even really get angry. He just kind of tries to get up and then falls down again. There's like not any like real impact of these deaths other than like a little bit of like music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like if they did that for like literally any like just for like Serizawa and Mothra, I think if they did that, it would have been very impactful. It could have showed, yeah, this person, this normal human, had such a deep respect for this like monster, this animal, this other being, a being just like him, a living creature just like this man. He sacrificed himself so that this other thing, this bigger otherworldly god could live. Like a man died so a god could live, and they don't really emphasize that. Or they could have done something where they just talk about like how they just react to Mothra dying. They could have said something like, I don't know, I don't even know. Like you should show Godzilla like getting angry. Maybe he still can't get up, but show like his eye, zoom in his eyes, show him that he's angry that like Mothra is dead, because she's supposed to be the queen of the monsters and he's the king. And like if they just focused on that, then it would have shown how important Serizawa was, and it would have shown how important Mothra was, even if you didn't know the lore. And I think that's like a reason it can't ever be a 100% good film, because it doesn't really focus a lot on characters. It just kind of like, the movie itself feels like a bit rushed, in my opinion. It's a good movie, it has good action sequences, but I don't think it really... I think Godzilla 2014 does better at respecting the source material, because in that movie, Godzilla is a fearsome monster. He's feared by everyone. No one's really sure if he's good or not, but he's the only choice they have. And when everything's done and over, yeah, like there's like a funny like war veteran scene at the end, but it kind of shows like he was the only one who could do anything about it. He was the only one who could kill the Mutos. And then he just goes like off. And then like that's it. He comes in, he fights, people shoot at him, but he doesn't care. He kills the Mutos, he causes destruction, and then he leaves. Just like in the old movies. You don't have a choice to trust him. You just have to. And he just, like a hurricane, he just comes in, causes destruction, and then it's just quiet. And this other movie, you know, King of Monsters, he comes in, but then he makes like this big show about it, and then the movie ends, and he's the good guy. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing that he's the good guy, but he kind of makes this like big show out of it that I don't think really fits Godzilla. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So one thing I do want to talk about, well, not necessarily make the monsters try to be like Marvel, like having each faces and lead to each other, but I do think it's kind of important to introduce these monster movies individually, like how Toho initially did. Like Rodan has its own movie. Opera has its own movie, so I think it would be kind of good idea if these monsters were introduced step by step, then lead to King of Monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you could better know who they are. So you
yeah,
could have that
in a sense that introduced these characters to the new audience that may not familiar with Toho kaiju films.
So you can finally have that six Godzilla King of the Infinity War. They have to wake all six Titans.
Oh man, can you imagine if they even make movies for other Titans?
Yo, do you think Godzilla is worthy enough to wield Thor's hammer?
I know.
Is he worthy?
I mean, Godzilla is always cool. He doesn't need any.
Godzilla's cool. Wait, hold on. I want to look something up. Odin. Fuck, I have some Mjolnir. Odin Mjolnir. That's not how you goddamn spell it. Odin. I want to see if he's worthy. No, okay, let me try Thor. Mjolnir. Okay, here's the. I guess this is the enchantment of the Odin place. And by these criteria, they will be worthy of wielding Thor's hammer. Hold on. I don't fucking know. Never mind, I can't find it. Okay, wait. Never mind. It's not happening. Yo, do you think what would happen if what would happen if Godzilla got some You think Godzilla would help the Avengers fight Thanos?
I mean, I know he's just an animal.
Well, Thanos is like coming to destroy the Earth, and Godzilla lives there.
Do you think Godzilla will be one that's being dusted?
That's a lot of dust. And then Ghidorah could come in and then take over. This is the new plot for the rewrite of Godzilla King of the Monsters. Thanos snaps, and then it goes across multiverses, and it kills Godzilla. And then Ghidorah takes over. And then Mothra and King Kong have to work together to take down Ghidorah. And then Rodan is there too, screaming. Being a little bitch, like he always is. He didn't do anything. What do you think the producers were thinking when they were like, yeah, when Godzilla comes out of the water, zoom in on his face really quick.
I mean, you're trying to make a cheesy beat movie with a Hollywood budget. I mean, why not? You just go out for it. Why don't they have 3 different personalities for King Ghidorah?
Wait, hold on, I'm listening up. King Ghidorah. Head names.
The last one is called the second one's called no, the first one is Ichi and the second one is Ni, and the third one is
Kevin.
Which also Kevin.
It's just Kevin.
It's just Kevin.
Kevin. Yo, Kevin needs his own movie.
I mean, I would watch it.
Me too. What I think. Okay, Netflix movie was, just terrible. 2014 was, a little, it was kind of close to a horror film.
But the human character is just boring.
Yeah, but I think King of the Monsters, it was kind of more like it was a fun movie. Like, it was a fun actiony movie. It wasn't like, the deep set horror. It was more of just like a wondrous.
I mean, if you do want a modern Godzilla movie with its origin,
Shin Godzilla?
Just watch Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla's really good. I haven't watched it, but I've seen like a lot of reviews, and they're all praising it. Especially like the song "Persecution of the Masses," which is just really sad.
I saw that in the movie. I said, "Holy crap, this is so good." And if anyone wants to go dig deep into it, I think what's that channel? What's that channel?
Dangerville?
No, the one that reviewed Godzilla movie. Was it Up Front of Death? Yeah.
Another good channel is Atari. Yeah, you want to just plug some channels? Yo, Yan, what's your favorite Godzilla channels?
Jeez, I mean, I don't think I have a favorite Godzilla channel because most of the stuff I watch is pretty random. I watch stuff like you found memes, people talking about movies. So I just one of my favorite channels is Cinemassacre. I mean, they're known for the angry video gamer and other stuff.
You know who my favorite Godzilla channel is?
Cool.
Crab Stomp. Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I want to.
Well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll find out next time because we're running out of time for this time because I only have 30 minutes of space and we're at the 29-minute mark. So, Yen, is there anything you'd like to finish with?
Nope, I don't have anything to finish off, and I hope next time if I appear in the podcast, I will have a new content for you guys.
And I hope next time I don't talk for 20 minutes straight and interrupt everybody. Wait, okay, before we go, I just want to ask you, Yen, in 3 words, can you describe the Netflix trilogy?
It's trash.
It's a trash. You heard it here first from Crab Sauce. Netflix trilogy. It's a trash. And I guess what I gotta say is Angry Lizard Boy. And that's it. I guess we'll see you guys next time.